To understand what Buddhism is, let's put aside all prejudices and just search deeply into the source of that beautiful teaching, a teaching based on truth to learn the truth, founded by Buddhist leader Shakyamuni. With the changing flow of time, since Buddhism spread on earth, in a cyclical manner, of course it cannot avoid rise and fall. Therefore, we can comment based on historical perspective, in terms of form, of course, Buddhism is influenced by the circumstances in the places where Buddhism was introduced, however, on the essence of the Tao, there is only one front and back. Buddhism is Buddhism, despite thousands of years of rain and sun, the quintessence is still the quintessence of the religion. Compassion, wisdom, and the truth that illuminates the dark world, just like sunlight. The sun shines across the horizon, sweeping away all darkness and suffering, bringing joy, brightness, trust, and hope to all living beings. Here, let's first understand what Buddha is. Definition: Buddha, one who is completely wise, rich in compassion, altruistic. If it is said enough, it must be called Buddha, which has three main meanings. 1. The Buddha was also a human before, but different from ordinary people, because he also came from a confused human being, enlightened, so he was no longer bound by causes, afflictions, birth and death, liberation. But why do you call it Buddha? Buddha is just a common term of respect for those who have great enlightenment, or in other words, Buddha Manasa Buddha, who holds the torch to illuminate life. The Buddha taught, all sentient beings have Buddha nature and will become Buddhas in the future, because of the principle of Dharmakaya equality. 2. Buddha, from the place of cultivating enlightenment to self-realization and enlightenment of others, and therefore, he understood that sentient beings and Buddha shared the same essence, no more, no less. Buddha often advises us, give up everything to gain everything. He taught again, I am just an accomplished Buddha, with the task of revealing your inherent Buddha essence, Bodhata. Whoever develops that Buddha nature will become a Buddha. 3. The Buddha's virtue and wisdom are both completely perfect. Buddha's status is unique. Supreme perfect enlightenment, Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. So we can generalize all three meanings as follows. Buddha is the enlightened one who has thoroughly understood the origin of the universe and how humans arise, and has eliminated all confusion, happiness, and dignified wisdom. Full happiness. And so people call Buddha a single saint above all saints. Buddha is the embodiment of the light of truth, teachings, the teachings enlightened and expounded by the Buddha himself. That comprehensive source of teachings includes all functions and methods from theory to practice, a universal philosophy, with the purpose of teaching and guiding sentient beings on their way back to reality. Salvation. Buddhism is a priceless spiritual treasure, an obvious truth. We cannot ignore it. If you put yourself in an objective position to find out the truth, you should not be superficial with your work, and you must research diligently to have perfect results. Because Buddhism has 84,000 wonderful teachings, full of life. The source of doctrine includes two aspects, emotion and reason. Let's not look any further. The truth is right next to us, but in fact, we must believe and follow Buddha's teachings, know how to turn to the truth, to perceive things correctly. The Buddhist scriptures are abundant, beyond imagination. They are the top literary institutions in the world in all aspects of philosophy, poetry and quantity. As we have seen and know, today currently in the world, there is no philosopher, scientist, religion, or ideology that has invented and left humanity a cultural treasure of the great canon of scriptures, as great as Buddhism. All worldly dharmas are Buddha dharmas. In short, Buddhist teachings are true and are the source of life for all sentient beings. Main features of Buddhism, regarding space, from an ontological perspective, since the universe and humans existed, Buddhism began to appear. Speaking in Buddhist terms, Buddhism is the original face of the universe and is the path of light and love, so it should be said, when there are sentient beings, there is Buddhism. Regarding time, one of the Buddhas was born Shakyamuni, over 25 centuries ago, after attaining enlightenment at the Bodhi tree. The first time Buddha preached at the Deer Park, India, the formation of Buddhism also originated from there, then spread throughout the world with profound theories. Covering all fields, ideology, literature, ethics, art and science. There is no subject that the Buddha did not clearly and thoroughly express, the methods to guide people and sentient beings towards enlightenment and liberation. Therefore, it is also said, Buddhism is the Tao of everyone, of all species, with practical teachings. 1. Open your heart. 2. Bringing living beings to the light of truth. 3. Building a enlightened and liberated, civilized society. 1. Open your heart. All phenomena in the universe have close correlations with each other. The reason for the difference is due to the attachment of each individual, called in Buddhist terms self-clinging. By relying on selflessness, Buddhist Dharma advises us to open both arms and embrace the universe in our hearts. And never close your mind. Be ready to embrace humanity and compassion. Forget the selfish, narrow I to love the vast universe. Because what we call me is not completely an entity, then we keep mistaking that false self as real, without receiving the true self in the vast Dharma world. Then we to avoid birth, why not violate the law of cause and effect correlation between things? That's why all the suffering is causing more evil people. What a pity. But how can we forget that a small self to be in harmony with the large self of the entire boundless universe, an accurate concept, according to Buddhism, self needs to be eliminated to enter the extremely vast common essence of which it is only a part. We are a part of a rhythmic whole. The cause of suffering is not because of living in this world, but because of our shallow, mistaken perception of life. We need to get rid of all thoughts of a self, and only then can we directly perceive all the joy, filling the vast and boundless soul. Eternal happiness only lives strong in a liberated soul. And liberated souls can only be realized once the individual gives way. The health of the human body depends on the balance of the 6 organs, of everything that exists in the universe. When it has been harmonized, balanced, then we can say that it is an absolute realm. An ego standing apart from the universe means making the universe unbalanced. If one part of the body hurts, the balance of the whole body is lost. If the balance is lost, there is no health. Misunderstanding a separate I means creating an ulcer in the body of the universe. Because of such an observation, advising people to open their hearts and accept the whole as themselves is the first job of Buddhism. 2. Bringing living beings to the light of truth. Humans are superior, because they can realize all the good things of the Avatamsaka Sutra. According to that teaching, Buddhism has not only guided people to recognize their own value but also helped to understand the origin of the universe. Not beyond the law of cause and dependent origination. All phenomena in the world, whether visible or invisible, mind or seen, are created by the combination of causes and effects, and are only diluted reflections of the changing mind. Therefore, Buddhism denies the theories that mind comes before things, idealism, things come before mind, materialism. According to Buddhism, mind and matter appear at the same time. Where there is mind there is matter and vice versa. Because mind is the mind of things, and things are things of mind, we cannot tear things in half to say, things are different from mind, or mind is different from things. Let's stop here, and ask these questions. As we say, mind exists before things, so where does that mind come from? Where to rely? And under what conditions does it arise? It is even more absurd to say, things come before mind, because things, matter equals matière, are inanimate, like minerals, plants, and mind, spirit equals spirituel, are spiritual, so it must depend on the material world to survive and develop, but it is not completely dependent on matter. But on the contrary, it can command everything. Let's take an example to prove this fact. In the flint stone, there is already fire essence, so when we light it, we can see the fire. Likewise, Buddhism advocates cause and dependent birth, no natural mind, no self. In life, there is no such thing as loneliness. The rising sun, flowers, birds singing, all closely affect life, directly or indirectly, it is just caused by this. Conditions for that to arise. The phenomenon of the world. The reason why all things in the universe exist is due to the elements of cause and effect, one after another, overlapping, dependent, arising, from beginningless to endless. The truth is that everything that exists in this world is destined for each other. From tiny atoms to distant stars, everything is related and interconnected. The Buddha himself taught so. Regarding reality, regardless of essence or phenomenon, the Buddha knew how to speak exactly like that. The 3 generations of Buddhas also said the same, like the 3 times the Buddhas preached the Dharma, the ritual, the golden fall, the destruction-like view, theory of non-discrimination of Dharma, Lotus Sutra, chapter on expediency. For example, the Buddha said, in the universe there are many solar systems, worlds, or in a bowl of water there are countless germs. Then one day nowadays, scientists, creating telescopes or electron microscopes, know that each crystal is a world, or that in a bowl of water there are many germs. It's true. As the Buddha taught. He also told us that the eternal universe is subject to impermanent change. This has also been proven by modern science. In a very small speck of dust there are countless atoms, rotating around each other, just like atoms. The planet goes around the sun. From a human perspective, Buddha is the one who has achieved a supreme personality, after integrating with the entire universe. The Buddha is just a transcendent leader with more transcendent characteristics than other teachers. In fact, the Buddha did not proudly consider himself the creator of all things and the father of all living things. In the Anguttara-Nikaya Sutra, there is a story written. One day, while the Buddha was on his way to enlightenment at Buddhagaya, Barons, he met a Brahmin who stopped him and asked, "Are you a god?" "Hey Brahmin, I am not a god," Buddha replied. "So are you a Yaksa demon? Is it God Gandharv?" "I am not the demon Yaksa, not the god Gandharv." "Are you human?" "I am human but not an ordinary person." "So what is he?" "Hey Brahmin, you should know, I am just a Buddha, Buddha. An enlightened one." It is so transparent. The Buddha did not recognize himself as a god, a Yaksa demon, or a Gandharv god, but he only recognized himself as an enlightened one, Buddha. More specifically, after enlightenment, the Buddha solemnly declared to the world, "I am a Buddha. You who are Buddhas will become. All have Buddha nature. If sentient beings know how to follow the Buddha's teachings to practice, they will definitely become Buddhas and thus. It shows us that the comprehensive humanistic spiritual value of Buddhism is to present the truth about the relationships between existing things in life, to help people have the right view, right understanding, to create their own lives and transform the surrounding circumstances, so that the light of religion will last forever. Forever shining as a torch to light the way for those who are still lost, confused, and do not know. Buddhism is indeed a religion built on the basis of compassion and wisdom, which is the source of life for all, free. Building a society of enlightened and liberated civilized people. Buddhism is the source of life in life, and when we have realized the right way of life and practice accordingly, it can be said that Buddhism is the spiritual basis of a civilized society, enlightenment and liberation. We still know that talking is not enough, but actions are largely determined by humans. The concept of a metaphysical God is also created by human imagination. Humans are the masters of everything, and the key to opening the door to nirvana is still available to humans. Therefore, Buddhism always takes the education of the whole person as the main duty that needs to be done and must be done in all times, regardless of skin color or race, but on the principle of building a civilized society. For enlightenment and liberation, what principles do we need to practice? About the moral aspect, the true value of true morality and understanding and respecting the dignity and personality of others are also as self. Morality is a practice, a habit of behaving according to reason. But righteousness is an essential part of being human. Show yourself to be virtuous, courageous, and wholehearted. Try to love all species. Humans are only worthy of their name when they can control their thoughts, words and actions both in the internal and external world. This is a huge project, but what is most praiseworthy is still the ability to control them. Self. Therefore, in terms of morality, Buddhism focuses on good and evil, separation of crime and retribution, and on the law of cause and effect, because it knows that doing good brings happiness. Do evil and suffer. Whatever the cause, that's the effect. Whatever our actions are today, the results will be the same tomorrow. An individual's good or bad action will have a significant impact on the whole. A person with moral ethics is the happiest person in the world, just like a beautiful blooming flower, fragrant for the world. Pascal said, "Morality is my best book. A book that I need to consult always." Morality is very necessary for human society. The collapse of morality will be a great disaster for you, people and life. With the above statement and based on reality, Buddhism always advises people to practice the acts of love, compassion, joy, and equanimity to beautify themselves and life. Any virtue, that future. About the ability of knowledge, human understanding is better than other sentient species. Human intelligence is truly a halo that brightens and beautifies life. Buddhism not only recognizes human intellectual abilities but also outlines ways to help people know how to use their talents in the quest to learn the truth. For scenes that exist directly in the daytime, we know light, and at night we know darkness. That is the common way of perception. Regarding supernatural dharmas, Buddhism is truly the sunlight that shines into the dark and messy forest of the natural world, the mental world and the transcendent world. However, there is one thing we should remember: Buddhist scriptures are just a finger pointing to the moon, truth, a raft that takes people across the river of delusion, to the surface of enlightenment, but the scriptures are not the truth. Therefore, Buddhism advises people to use reason to understand and judge things, not to apply emotions in understanding and judging things hastily and incorrectly. The story of the Buddha's conversion of the Kalama people, when these people were in a confused state of mind before a crossroads of truth, recorded in the collection Anguttara Nikaya, expressed the spirit of the Tao as it really is. Buddha, don't believe in anything because of style. Don't believe in anything because it's been repeated by many people. Don't believe in anything even if it's the writings of a saint. Don't believe in anything because of habit. For a long time, I have accepted that this is true. Don't believe in anything that you imagine and think that a divine being has revealed it to you. Don't believe in anything just based on the reputation of the teachers, but only believe in what you yourself have experienced. Experienced and accepted as true, beneficial for yourself and others, only that is the ultimate goal of sublimation for people and life. Please take that as a standard. That is the heartfelt teaching that Buddha personally gave to humans in this world. The higher human knowledge, the more civilized and progressive human life will be. Indeed, even though it is a worthless object, when human intelligence pays attention to it, it also becomes valuable, and vice versa. Human intelligence determines human life, about practical values, based on the truth and method that the Buddha realized and practiced and took it as the standard for all worldly activities. Buddhism advises people to practice two characteristics. 1. Because of great love, vow to save suffering for all sentient beings, compassion. 2. Realize that all things in life are subject to impermanent change and, they have different natures, forms, and uses, but they are all equal in the same Buddha nature, clear wisdom. With awareness. Thus, Buddhism has indeed promoted human value to the pinnacle of nobility, which is the value of equality between Buddha and sentient beings. A radical equality, and the ultimate goal is that all sentient beings have Buddha nature and will become Buddha in the future, if sentient beings become enlightened. Buddhism has put people in a proactive position, to save themselves and others, to save life, a meaningful commitment that Buddha's teachings teach you. People clearly realize the essence of each job, which the example below is a proof of. Two people perform a righteous deed, one person only knows how to do it with duty and wholeheartedly, the other person, on the contrary, they do it for the sake of it. To satisfy the desire for fame and profit. Even though it is the same thing, we have two different meanings. Let us sacrifice our bodies for noble ideals. Righteous actions and great causes only when people practice according to the call of conscience, love, and wisdom will they truly demonstrate the spirit of compassion and wisdom of the Buddha-like religion. Therefore, all practical values in Buddhism are for the purpose of truthfulness, respect for truth and righteousness. To truly transform people, according to Buddhism, is to always renew their souls and improve their circumstances and lifestyle and reveal things in light, in every thought, word, and deed, to know the path of goodness, that is the path that leads to the right path, Americanize, to beautify yourself and life. Therefore, the first and last task of Buddhism is to build a happy nirvana on earth. So what is nirvana? Nirvana, porn, nirvana, is a spiritual state of complete stillness, purity, representing happiness, freedom, liberation, and only manifests after people have eliminated all greed and greed. Unjust desires, resentment, anger, jealousy, delusion, attachment to self and dharma. Nirvana is the most beautiful ideal of living beings. It is not outside the reality of this life. In other words, nirvana is just the state of the human soul, once completely enlightened, free from confusion and suffering. No longer bound by defilements, and at the same time integrating with the whole world. The universe is boundless space. Endless time, and beyond the relative birth and death scene. That is, from the perspective of entering the world and transforming the path, Buddhism proposes common methods such as, for repentance, and 6 harmony, which are essential methods to build a model life, Buddha, a model family, increase, a model society, human, a model humanity, pure land, a supreme ideal, Buddha, on the path leading to the ideal, Buddha. If people want to be completely successful, they need to learn, understand, and believe in the teachings that the Buddha realized. Explain and then follow, to destroy each time. Small, selfish egos, to discover great love and to enjoy living with the surrounding circumstances. There is no happiness that can be compared with the peace and quiet of the mind, Daya, Nikaya. Indeed, happiness and civilization in general can be said to come from the heart, in the bright mind of each of us. When people know how to love, protect, and help each other, the task of building a society of civilized, enlightened and liberated people will no longer be far away. If everyone knows how to apply Buddhism in daily life, it is thought that the true nirvana of happiness will appear right in this world, without having to look for it in a strange place. Outside of Buddhism. Where can we find these good results? Buddhism, endless source of life. Buddhism represents a sublime and very practical ideal of human life. In short, the source of that teaching is contained in one word, Dharma. This word means, all things, i.e., all Dharma. And, that's it, all theories, all concepts about the truth of life, way of life, lifestyle and all life in the world, Buddhism presents accurately, from the general to the details of each thing, phenomenon, pharma ni nu ti, all things are inherently like that. Just like saying that religion is life, because religion needs to be connected with life to exist and develop. In other words, Buddhism is the source of all life. We can visualize the way through words, such as tuong, truth, eternal, bliss, peaceful joy, liberation, self, autonomous, free, self-sufficient, pure, clean, clear, perfect, or like the bright golden light, like the lotus flower blooming in the middle of a lagoon whose fragrance spreads everywhere. Buddhist teachings teach people to live in the spirit of compassion and altruism, to beautify themselves and life. This has been proven by history. Buddhism is neither bold nor innovative, but is only a remedy to treat all mental and physical illnesses of humans and sentient beings. Meaning that depending on the level and base, we can transform. Doing any work that benefits yourself and others is Buddhism. With that positive spirit, Buddhism is not anti-evolution, going against the trend, weakening people like some people have seen Buddhism under many false anti-cultural names, leaving out the decadent and decadent era. Negative faction. Not relying on wisdom, Buddhism has looked at life in a comprehensive way, so the Buddhist concept has 2 things, Buddha is the torch that leads the way, and is the eternal teacher. Buddhist teachings teach people to contemplate the truth to liberate themselves from suffering and darkness. In short, Buddhism has all the methods to liberate people and sentient beings from all darkness and suffering, and lead a happy and free life. A religion that respects human reason and the right to life of all. Therefore, wherever Buddhism spreads, it is welcomed, trusted and served by the masses. Just like the sun shines from above, there is no place without light. Buddhism is the truth. Because Buddhism is everything, infinitely brings to 1 point equals Buddha, truth, everything is Buddhism, 1 point spreading throughout the vast Dharma realm equals teaching, method to reach the truth. That is the essence of the entire Buddhist teachings.
Thank you for spending your valuable time on my channel journey to enlightenment. Wishing you a very peaceful and happy day. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to my support channel. See you in the next video.